All right, so are Khamzat Chimaev and Alex Pereira, are they both going to abandon their weight classes and move on up to another weight class, leaving their divisions in peril, not defending the belts? Because that is what is rumoured to be happening. And of course, Saturday night, Sean Strickland beat Fluffy Hernandez in dominant fashion, destroyed him actually, beat him in the third round. I say that with respect. Beautiful knee to the midsection in the stomach. We know we've been through this, and then finished him with the hands, right? At the post-fight press conference, the boss man, Dana White, was asked about Pereira and Khamzat both moving up a division, right? And Dana had some things to say. Before I get to it in just a second, though, I do want to say I was with Khamzat last week on the Jackson podcast, and Khamzat Chimaev told me that he is 240 pounds, right? What do you weigh right now, Khamzat? What do you weigh? Come on.
You can keep it a secret if you want.
I don't know.
That is gigantic. That is a good weight for a heavyweight, let alone a middleweight that fights at 185 pounds, 84 kilos. That would be a 55-pound weight cut that he has to go through. And by the way, he didn't look fat. He looked to be in really good shape, and he's down there in Newport Beach, California, training, running on the beach every single day. The man is working out hard, but there's no talks of a title fight. In fact, I asked him, who will you be fighting? And he said, brother, I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then, of course, you got Alex Pereira. He's talked about moving up for quite some time. He was very open about wanting to fight John Jones at the White House. He did tweet recently, looks like no go at the White House. That remains to be seen, right? But Pereira's been talking about it, and Dana was asked about it. So, first of all, this is what Dana had to say.
Well, you know, he's one of those guys that that always steps up, does whatever we need him to do. Whatever that guy wants to do, we would work with him.
And of course, Alex Pereira does deserve that. He did have a crazy strength of schedule. He was a kickboxing champion. He became the UFC middleweight champion when he stopped Israel Adesanya. Sure, he lost the rematch. He got sparked out, and then he moved up to light heavyweight and just went crazy. And he's taken out the entire division, okay? There is one person left. That man's name is Carlos Ulberg. He is on a crazy win streak, okay? And I would love to see that matchup because it would be great. But does Alex Pereira deserve a chance to move up to a third division? I say, sure. If Khamzat Chimaev is walking around at 240 pounds, God knows how big Alex Pereira can get, okay? But when he was asked about Khamzat Chimaev...
Yeah, I'd like to see him defend his title before he talks about jumping around from, you know, you're going to keep going up in weight divisions without defending. Yeah. I'd rather see him defend.
And so would I, because Khamzat Chimaev hasn't had a defense. I always say I would like there to be a rule where you got to defend the belt 3 times before you start all this jumping around the weight class nonsense. Yes, Conor McGregor did it, made it look very cool. Daniel Cormier did it. Amanda Nunes did it. A bunch of others. Henry Cejudo. We could go on all day. TJ Dillashaw tried it, failed, crashed out and burned against Henry Cejudo. Who else? George St. Pierre, okay? The guy did it, but he was retired for a little bit, right? It's all the rage. They all want to do it. Ilia Topuria became the featherweight champion and jumped up to 155 without even thinking about a defense, okay? Right? But you do have an obligation. And certainly in the middleweight division, we'll go back to Pereira in just a second. Certainly in the middleweight division, Sean Strickland took out Fluffy at the weekend, did it in devastating fashion, and he's been talking a lot of crap. Not only is there Sean Strickland, there's also Nassourdine Imavov, a man that I think deserves a shot at the belt. The hand speed on this man is absolutely ridiculous, but Sean Strickland has a win over Nassourdine Imavov, and these guys have been going back and forth. Nassourdine said, "My dream, bring me the clown for the crown." Strickland responded with, "Listen, dude, I've moved past you. I've beat you. Relax. Either you get the belt or I get the belt. Once you get the belt, I'll take it from you. Once I get the belt, you'll just lose to me." And then Imavov actually went on talking about Sean Strickland and got very personal, and he absolutely hates Sean Strickland. And I know there's a lot of people out there that hate Sean Strickland, and I talked about this in a video the other day. I think he won a lot of fans over, given how respectful he was to Anthony Hernandez, right?
Fluffy's the definition of a man.
I think that proved that a lot of what Sean Strickland says, a lot of the time, he's just having fun. He's having a laugh. It's very performative, okay? But Nassourdine Imavov hates him. This is what he said, and this is quite cold. He said, if the UFC call me tomorrow, the hate that I have in my heart, of course, it will be Sean Strickland. And then I can fight Khamzat, Chimaev, or whoever. I hate Sean. I don't like the way he speaks. I don't like the way he thinks. I don't like the way he speaks about my people. So like I said, in terms of fighting, I can tell you guys, both of those fights will be world wars. Both of those fights will be crazy. But the one with Sean, I will leave him dead inside the cage. So there certainly is some words, and Sean Strickland has beaten him before, beaten via decision. The reality is, who deserves it more? I don't know. Sean's only on a 1-fight win streak, but he is a former champion. Imavov hasn't done that, right? The reality is, Chimaev has got to fight one of them. I know he's talking about going up to 205, or he's thinking about going up to 205, and making 185 from 240 pounds will be very hard, okay? But I would love to see him in there with Strickland. Certainly when he says that he choked him out multiple times, and his lightweight training partner choked him out a bunch of times. And then you've got Strickland calling him a Chechen, all this type of stuff, right? Talking a lot of shit, talking a lot of smack, not afraid to poke the bear, shall we say, right? That fight's got to happen. I want to see it. You want to see it. The whole world would love to see it, right? So I think he's got to stay at 185 pounds. So call me a company man, but I agree with Dana White there. Now, let's talk about Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira, I said that he's ran through the division, and he kind of has. And the only person that's left for him is Carlos Ulberg. But there is some people out there, and there is the rumours about Cyril Gane. Now, Tom Aspinall's still not coming back. And that is very alarming. It is very concerning. And one more time, I wish nothing but the best. I hope that he comes back with a full recovery. I hope there's no psychological demons or trauma. And I hope that he comes back to his fighting best, takes out Cyril Gane. May the best man win, of course. Takes out Cyril Gane and then goes on to fight whoever it will be. And go on the legendary run that I thought he had. But if he doesn't come back soon, there might be some scope for an interim title. And I've talked about this before, so I'm not going to bore you with it, okay? But Alex Pereira going up a weight class, being the first ever 3-weight division champion, I also, like Dana, don't really have a problem with that. He was the middleweight champion. He was the light heavyweight champion. He has been the fighter of the year, had the knockout of the year. He's champion nearly everyone in the light heavyweight division. He beat Magomed Ankalaev in 1 minute 20 seconds. Lost to Magomed. Put on a brilliant performance against Khalil. Took out Yuri Prohaska, Jamal Hill, Yuri Prohaska, Jan Blachowicz. Cleared out the division, okay? And he was the middleweight champion as well. It will be the first chance ever for somebody to become a 3-weight division champion. Tell me you don't want to see that. And tell me you don't want to see that at the White House. That would be the perfect fight to put on at the White House.
John Jones, Alex Pereira fight would probably be the biggest fight in human history.
Whether it's against, I don't know, Cyril Gane, whether it's John Jones, Tom Aspinall, whoever it is, I would love to see that. What do you think about everything that I just said? Let me take a deep breath, because I talk very fast and I shout quite a bit. That's why my voice is getting a little bit raspy. But subscribe, ring the bell, leave a comment, and let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. You guys take care wherever you are in the world. All the best. Goodbye.